Musk praises him, Farage doesn't. The incoming US president's advisor also using his social media platform X to trash the British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, for alleged failings in a child sexual abuse scandal when he was the UK's chief prosecutor more than a decade ago. Musk's abuse sharpest against Starmer's child safeguarding minister, Jess Phillips, calling her pure evil and a wicked creature who should be sent to jail for not calling for a national inquiry.
Starmer's world is crumbling. Leading figures begin to attack him, and world leaders quickly distance themselves. The pressure on him is mounting, and it looks like Starmer is going to take a step that could dramatically change the situation. This will lead to serious consequences. Buckle up, because the global crisis around Starmer is gaining momentum. Elon Musk has just shocked British politics by making sensational accusations against Keir Starmer. The tech billionaire did not hold back and accused Starmer of complicity in the destruction of Britain during his time as Attorney General. This is a serious statement that has attracted public attention. You might think that Musk is just stirring up conflict, but that's not all. He claims that he has real evidence that can destroy everything around him. We don't know exactly what he means yet, but Musk is not one to bluff. If he says he has something important, it's probably something significant. Starmer's team is preparing for a response.
But instead, a local one.
When the poison of the far right leads to serious threats to Jess Phillips and others, then in my book, a line has been crossed.
Musk's inaccurate and sensationalist accusations are surprising some politicians here in the UK. Tactics, though, typical, championing the right, exploiting division.
It's not just Musk's accusations that they're facing. It's a real storm that raises serious questions about Starmer's work as a prosecutor, especially in cases of sexual assault and criminal gangs. From 2008 to 2013, when Starmer was head of the Crown Prosecution Service, he was heavily criticized for his approach to sexual assault cases. Many bitterly claimed that the level of prosecution was catastrophically low, especially in cases involving banditry. The statistics are relentless, which is why this issue continues to be at the center of the UK's political agenda. Musk's statements have rekindled calls for a new investigation into sexual exploitation cases. And these are not just words. They are a cry for help. Critics indignantly claim that previous investigations failed to get to the bottom of the problem of grooming gangs, leaving many victims without justice. An independent investigation into the violence, which concluded in 2022, revealed shocking institutional flaws in the handling of these cases. Now we're dealing with a perfect storm: Musk's accusations, a review of Starmer's record, and the ongoing emotional debate about combating child exploitation in Britain.
Elon Musk pointing fingers at Keir Starmer. Elon Musk supports Donald Trump, who is a multiple felon with serious civil liabilities for sex abuse.
Come on, you
Oh,
can't,
you're one of
can't-
those. You're one of those. You don't deal in reality. You don't deal with facts. Do you think Elon Musk is right to say that Tommy Robinson should be released from prison?
Let me put it this way. I think Tommy Robbins is a nuisance. Completely a nuisance.
But should he be released?
think
Is Elon Musk right to say he should be released from prison?
First of all, I don't
It's a
even
yes
know.
or no.
This is a real disaster for Starmer and the Labour Party, and it seems the situation is only getting worse. Musk's publications about Starmer are becoming more and more loud and defiant, and people are starting to ask uncomfortable questions that the Labour Party simply cannot help but respond to. The political consequences can be devastating. Starmer has a tough fight ahead of him, and he urgently needs to respond to these accusations. Even if he manages to get out of this situation, his reputation may already be hopelessly damaged, and this is just the beginning of his troubles. Musk's stunning statement caused a real storm, leaving Starmer all alone on the world.
I would like to start by congratulating President-elect Trump on his impressive victory this morning. The Prime Minister and the Foreign Secretary met him in September. Did the Foreign Secretary take that opportunity to apologise for making derogatory and scatological references, including, and I quote, "Trump is not only a woman-hating, neo-Nazi sympathising sociopath, he is also a profound threat to the international order." And if he did not apologise, will the Prime Minister do so now on his behalf?
The Foreign Secretary and I did meet
President-elect Trump just a few weeks ago for dinner for about a couple of hours, and we discussed a number of issues of global significance. It was a very constructive.
You might think that Starmer's friends would support him in his hour of need, but no. Even his supporters keep their distance. Why? It's very simple. These leaders are well aware of which direction the wind is blowing. Starmer continues to destroy international relations. Look at his energy plans. Trump blew them to smithereens, calling it a colossal mistake. And then the story of China. Starmer's idea of creating a new super enterprise caused a real storm of discontent. It's like he's playing with fire in a room full of fireworks and doesn't realize he can burn everything down. Do you remember when Starmer was a respected player on the international stage? Those days are in the distant past, and now he stands on the edge of a precipice.
Why didn't you invite Elon Musk? You're desperate to get a company which sacks its employees by Zoom, but you're stiffy about the biggest car maker in the world because he put something on social media you didn't like. Okay.
The Labour government think that they can get away with not inviting Elon Musk to the investment summit and that none of us would notice. But of course we have noticed. You've invited everybody but him. Do you not think that an invite to the richest man in the world, who is doing more innovation than pretty much anybody else at the moment, you know, huge in the car industry and doing, obviously, as we've seen over the past couple of days, epic stuff with SpaceX, and they just think, no, we don't want to give him an invite, right? That is not pure coincidence. We all know exactly why, and that's because Elon Musk has criticised the government, so you've decided you don't want any of his investment. What?
Now he looks more like a child with whom no one wants to sit at the dinner table, left aside and forgotten. But it's not just Starmer who's being hit. The whole of Britain is under threat. Other countries are starting to look at us with distrust and doubt. Trade, travel, all this is hanging in the air, creating tension that is felt at every step. So, what lies ahead for Starmer? He faces a fierce struggle and he must urgently change the situation. But given that world leaders refuse to cooperate with him, this will be a real test. One thing is clear. British politics is going through turbulent times. As for Starmer, he looks less and less like a leader and more like a burden dragging the country down. The main question is, how long can he hold out before everything collapses into chaos? Remember when Starmer thought he could please Trump?
I do think that every single Labour MP that has failed to come out and call for a ceasefire when it was opportune to do so will hang their heads in fucking shame. And to leave it to MPs like Zara Sultana, like Apsana Begum, who themselves are already extremely vulnerable, who have the most to lose, or the most vulnerable in this condition, they are the only ones that are actually stepping up and asking for the right thing. And so, honestly, I think it's, you know, they're going to hang their heads. I hope they can hang their heads in shame for the way that they have behaved. Because if we can't even trust you to do the right thing on the precipice of a genocide, then what is the point?
Those days are long gone, and now he's alone, holding withered flowers in his hands, symbolizing his failure. Let's go back a bit. Starmer had a grand plan. He hoped to charm Trump to take his rightful place on the world stage. Why? It's simple. He didn't want to be the last to be chosen for the game, especially when you're trying to run the country. But Trump didn't fall for it. He quickly turned from a potential ally into an outspoken critic. And when Trump attacks, he does so with full force, leaving no stone unturned. The Trump team is actively working against Starmer. And they don't just disagree with him, they attack like predators ready to tear their prey apart. We saw how they lobbied for Starmer's policies in Washington, making appointments and calling to confuse him. And Trump himself? He openly criticizes Starmer, calling him weak and ineffective, even stating that he is harmful to Britain. Imagine how that made Starmer feel. It's like coming to a fancy party and finding your fly open while everyone around you is laughing. This is not just a skirmish between politicians, it is a question of Britain's place in the world. And now, with Starmer coming to power, this place looks extremely unstable, like a fragile house of cards ready to collapse at any moment. See you.